Be approved as presented. Is there a motion to that?
I'll approve the October 21, 2024.
Is there a second to that? Is there a motion to move second to approve the October 21st meeting, Borough Council special meeting minutes? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? I abstain since I was not here. Approval and payment of bills. Before you see consolidated payment of bills out of the general fund, we have $110,744.30. Sewer fund, $11,724.21. Liquid fuels, $121,654.67. $0 out of the fire tax fund, $0 out of the EMS tax fund. Is there a motion to approve consolidated payment of bills as presented?
So moved.
Second. Motion moved and second to approve the bills as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Approval of Treasurer's Report. Before you see fund balances as of October 31st. In general fund, we have $488,854.25. Liquid fuels, you'll see $131,777.54. Fire tax fund has $5,609.95. EMS tax fund has $1,355.49. The sewer fund is $186,141.07. And our reserve account has $197,686.21. Total fund balances equal $1,011,424.51. Is there a motion to accept and file for audit the Consolidated Treasurer's Report?
So moved. Second.
Motion moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye for approval of Treasurer's Report. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Public comment, if anybody emailed in or anything, great, we'll move on. Consultant report, Borough Engineer, we will circle back. But she does have a motion to appoint Kevin Byer as SDE Staff Sewage Enforcement Officer. We're required to have a sewage enforcement officer as every municipality, even though I think we only have like 2 septic systems in the whole borough, maybe 1, maybe 3, but we're required by law to have one.
This is adding to the staff, so anyone at SDE can respond as a sewage enforcement officer.
So is there a motion to appoint Kevin Byer as SDE Staff Sewage Enforcement Officer or anyone on their staff that's
I move
qualified? Sorry.
Yeah, I move we appoint Kevin Byer as SDE's sewer enforcement officer.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded to appoint Kevin Byer as the Staff Sewage Enforcement Officer. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Borough Solicitor's Report.
Yeah, I've been working with our bond council in getting together all of the documents required for closing. Loan closing took place yesterday, and closing on the new building will take place tomorrow at First American.
At 9 a.m.
And the money will go in the bank at 9:30.
And the check we're giving over at the time, Amanda, is 704 something?
No, 754 or something, change.
Okay.
Yeah, we had 10,000.
Closing costs and stuff.
10,000 down payment.
Yeah. Anything else, Solicitor?
That's all I have. Other items are covered elsewhere on the agenda.
All right, Borough Mayor report.
Do have a report in the file. The police did hire another officer, and then I believe this was supposed to be by the end of the year meeting, and Chief Serafin just gave a lowdown of the different services that are included, so you can read that here, and I'm thinking our next meeting will be in January 2025.
Oh, with the police commission meetings, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, our contract runs out when?
2026, so we'll be in negotiation next year.
Next year.
And the chief retires in February of 2026.
Oh, I think it's 26.
I believe he said 26, so we'll get a new contract in place before he retires.
Do you know what the total staffing of police officers is right now for Central Berks?
We did have 9, so I would think we have 10.
10 now.
And 2 women.
So does the 10 include the 2 women?
There's
Yeah.
more than 10.
There's
23.
I was gonna say, there's like 20 something.
Yeah.
23.
There's patrol sergeants,
Officer sergeants.
He and I were talking about this earlier this week, I think it's 23 or 24.
Oh,
You think to
Well,
it?
just curious.
I
Yeah.
was in the
we can
2012.
pull the list.
I care not. I just was curious.
Yeah, they're not at the meetings, so.
Yeah. Anything else, Mayor?
No, that's all, thank you.
Finance. Review proposed 2025 budget for the general fund, sewer fund, liquid fuels fund, fire tax fund, and EMS tax fund.
Okay, start at the back. So we'll do general fund last. Sewer fund is in there, you have the printout, but it's the last 2 pages.
That's not for Eagles game, because we're not gonna,
No, that's not, that's for any changes that we put in here to.
Get the pregame show on.
So you want to look at the EMS tax first?
No,
Sewer.
Sewer, well, we're gonna work from back to front. Sewer is pretty self-explanatory, we're gonna carry a fairly healthy amount into next, the last 2 pages.
Well, looking forward, there's probably gonna have to be a sewer increase coming up because, you know, PA America's charging us more and stuff like that, but it's, I think it's tough to defend a sewer increase when we have the numbers we have right now. You know, so I think it'd be better for us to sort of plan it out and then maybe talk about it middle of the year, so it was not included in this year's budget.
Yeah, we're gonna be going up 25 to 35,000 a year. It wasn't bad, we have a fixed quarterly surcharge, flat fee as a customer, plus then the treatment charge increase. And what we are looking at trying to do is put together money for our 10-year plan.
Yeah, so we're down, since we did all the sewer rehab last 2 years ago, it's time to start building up that amount to almost $300,000, which is historically what we've been spending every 10 years. So then that would be the final amount that's never been touched before, and all the rest will have been rehabilitated with a plus 30-some years. So there might be some future where you wouldn't have to be building up as much on a 10-year period for your repairs and stuff like that. So,
Makes sense, yeah.
yeah, so I'm just trying to give you a big, broad view of how it's been done.
Are we lined, what percent?
We have, I think 45% of our system is maintained with lining and or point repair.
And the other ones would still get videotaped and still show no issues, correct?
Yeah, well, so that 45% doesn't include like Penn's Grant and Macy Way have PVC
Right.
versus clay terracotta.
Yeah, because it's not gonna separate or deteriorate. So sewer, okay? Anybody have any questions? Can we move on? Since this is the greatest stuff we ever do. Which one next?
Okay, flip one page, that is 2 pages, that's the liquid fuels budget.
Yeah, there's not much in the liquid fuels because, we're pretty constrained about what you can buy, what you get, stuff like that. And, we get audited, so I don't know what else to say. We didn't spend much money last year on salt. We have plenty of salt this year to start off the year. So far, haven't used any.
Yeah.
So-
Because there's a mistake on
And that's probably our biggest expenditure is salt and snow removal, things like that.
Liquid fuels, the biggest expenditure is street lighting.
that. Yeah, that liquid fuels one has an issue.
Yeah, and I've asked questions like, is there any way we can get MedEd or whoever they are now, First Energy, to give us LED lights instead of the ones so we could reduce our cost? And I guess their answer is, oh yeah, we're doing that everywhere. So,
Not here.
Yeah, but not here. So I don't know how, if anybody gets a great idea how you talk to MedEd into putting you higher on the board, help us out.
My brain is like toast, so don't mind me. Let's see, there is a problem with that cash flow. Because the beginning balance is not correct. For the budget 2025, it pulled 125. Oh, no, that is correct, because that's what our ending amount is.
Yeah.
I can't even, no, that's old stuff. I can't even read it because it's in a dark color and I should have changed it. So that is correct.
But you're colorblind.
She's toast.
Well, when it gets that dark and I'm looking at the stuff and I'm
Mary,
like.
can you see if we can get the Seeing Eye Dog Association?
Thank you. I need a reading assistant.
Yes, one for yes.
Okay, so the liquid fuels budget is what it is. We have, the possibility of a projected 20% increase in electric grid cost, but because of the way the electric bills are done, it is almost impossible to determine which portion
Of the bill
is gonna
be
be.
the increase.
Yeah, so, or more than 20% because even though we have a negotiated rate, the expense for the grid has increased and that, wipes out any agreements, so.
All right.
Next is flip a page in fire tax and that's all on one page.
So not much change there at all.
Fire tax, the dollar amount, the millage is going up, so that's one of the things that we have to pass tonight, so there is an ordinance that has to be done, so the projected income for next year is 52,000. The millage will bring in 52,774, but you don't collect all of it. And our assessed value has actually gone down. So so the millage increase is not bringing as much as it would previously. So it is a rather pain in the you-know-what.
So because our assessed value is going down, we don't bring in the same amount of revenue, so therefore we're gonna have to increase millage if we wanna keep it the same.
Well, they can't, the fire tax is on, an agreement with the fire companies, and so, it's going up from the 0.68 to 0.70. It goes up,
Right.
in the agreement, it goes up every year. So they're,
Does the increase make up for the, okay.
you're exempt, as you can see, the income is basically flat from what was a little bit less.
Any questions? Can we move on?
You can. What?
EMS?
EMS tax should be there. The EMS tax is basically, that is maxed out at 0.5 mil. I know Warren was at a meeting about, with the.
Was that county consolidation of EMS? Is that the
No,
topic?
Right. Yeah, it was not consolidation, it was, they went and they surveyed every EMS, every municipality, and, there are some municipalities that virtually give nothing to EMS, others that are contributing large amounts, hundreds of thousands. And, but in our situation, I went to the regional meeting in Muhlenberg, talked to Lower Alsace, they're happy with what we're providing. They are also, everything I can glean from them is financially they're doing okay. And they're not one of the ones.
They're not distressed like others.
There are two out of the, I forgot, 10 or something.
10 or 11, I think it was.
That are at the verge of going under. That probably by the end of next year, there will be 2 less EMS organizations in the county.
The municipalities that they serve, are they gonna, help, they don't know, nobody knows?
They shared their information under the condition that their identity is not revealed.
Oh, the municipality or the
Right. Who
fire,
they
or the company's
represent.
not.
That the EMS organization that shared
I
that
understand.
they were distressed, but with the understanding that it would not be shared.
Okay,
And I have no idea which ones they are.
so by just giving us and saying, oops, 2 out of 10 are in distress, but not saying where or what or how's the rest of the municipality supposed to react?
Well, and that's part of what they're saying is
Beware?
beware that if a local municipality or local EMS goes under, all of a sudden now your EMS may end up having
To cover.
Oh,
And
okay.
EMS is in a position of, if somebody calls,
They must go.
they must go.
Right.
They have no
Right of refusal.
right of refusal whatsoever. And to the extent that there are individuals that get their utility bill, I can't pay it, they call for EMS to take them to the hospital, they get the insurance check for their EMS transport, they use it to pay the
Yeah,
bill.
something else, yeah.
And some of the EMSs are now at the point of knowing those individuals and saying, we're gonna transport it because we legally have to, but we're not gonna submit a bill to the insurance company
Because
because
then they won't get rewarded for
they
it.
won't get rewarded.
Yeah, so that'll
That's
try
what
to
they
stop
never-
the chain of
They're
events.
trying to do that.
Yeah.
So,
The one other thing is that state law limits the max amount that EMS
right,
fund can have
0.5 mil.
as non-electoral. So how many municipalities are gonna go through the cost of putting on the ballot? Cause I don't know how much it costs.
Some have done that, it's a lengthy process, I mean, I had to research it for another municipality. last year, one of the larger townships in Bucks County, Ben Salem Township, had it on a referendum. It had failed 3 years before. I've seen a couple of others, not a lot.
Wouldn't it be easier to try and get the state legislature to change the law?
So to sum it up,
You can't get the.
sum it up, beware, buyer beware, there may be stress on everybody else if those others go down. If 20% of the responders go down, that may cause stress on the other companies that'll stress your group.
It falls under mutual aid,
Right, okay.
right? So it's just like municipalities that don't have, police force.
Yep.
They rely on
State police.
mutual aid or state police.
Maybe the county needs an EMS tax to help cover mutual aid.
Yeah, that would make Brian Gottschall in charge, so let's skip that idea. Let's go move on. What's our next budget item?
So, we're good on this budget?
Yeah,
Now we're at the general fund.
this is the best one.
Oh, yeah, this one is a real,
Motion to adjourn?
this is a real rocker, I can tell you.
So if I remember the synopsis is, we're probably about 30,000 in expenses negative than income for next year, which we could take out of one of our reserves, or you could have a choice to increase taxes for millage.
We're not that bad.
Huh?
We're only off by 20,000.
20,000.
With what we
Right.
figure we're carrying, and that includes selling this building for 400,000.
Well, let's take it in there, yeah, so we put a value of 400,000 here, we think we get income, that's how we're coming up with this deficit. I don't think, and this is the words I use, I don't wanna get beaten up for a $20,000 deficit in our budget when you look at what our reserves are. And chances are, we're gonna have to raise taxes next year.
Oh, we're
But
gonna
we have a whole kind of wild card situation coming if we buy the new building, sell this building, and everything else. So I don't know if it's fiduciary pressure to balance this budget for $20,000 with a tax increase. But I let my other council people weigh in. I would be mad if I saw our reserves and suddenly saw a tax increase for and to know it was $20,000 that triggered. That's how I'm trying to present this.
Yeah, I mean, the only way you would propose it is to say, we know our police
Right.
and our trash is gonna go up. And in anticipation of that, we can spread it out over an additional year
Right.
type of thing.
What,
Saving my money.
what you have is for 2025, we are at a deficit of $7,624 from what was billed last year. Because our this stuff is all tiny, because our valuations were reduced.
But what I'm suggesting is, to me, to tell the citizen, hey, this is what our bill next year is gonna be for trash, this is what it's gonna be for police. Now you see why the taxes are going up. You're getting to the same point, and you're making it a smoother transition, but,
Yeah.
the beatdown still continues,
Now,
Yeah, certainly you wait till next year, you get what
It
it is, that's what it is.
that's what it is, it's the way life has to be.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. You
I-
can go
I-
either way.
I just leave it for comment,
what this does include, besides the 400,000 income, is 190,000 outgoing for the pole barns. There's 45,000 in there for IT expenses to get a file server, which is long overdue, plus all the upgrades we need to the system over there, firewall,
Yeah,
all of those.
So give me a second to talk about that. So over there, they have fiber optic run all through the building. They have this little adapter comes out, and bingo, you have these really fast speeds, all using the fiber optic. You could probably go through wireless, but that's another whole story. The real issue is, if we have a Freedom of Information Act request right now, just for a property, we probably have to search 7 computers through different people to go make sure we've captured everything on that property. And if you run a small business, you almost always have a central file where everybody gets shared up to there, it gets backed up all the time, and that's where everything's stored. That's generally how businesses run, and we've been lucky because the sophistication of everything, haven't had to be that sophisticated. We're probably at that now. So the IT guys that did the new building IT came in and said, you guys really need to have a file server. It gets backed up once an hour. I mean, it captures everything once an hour. Then it goes also up to the cloud. You have it there physically with you, but it goes to a cloud storage. I asked them specifically, is it one on the East Coast or one on the West Coast? Because that's how things are done anymore. They want redundancy. So in case the hurricane goes up the East Coast, you know your data's all secure out in Utah somewhere. So the rack's already there because the existing past owners pulled all their stuff out. So all we have to do is put in a couple things, but it's a pretty big expense to get there. Plus a 3-year agreement and backstore and stuff like that. So you're probably going to see later in the minutes a authorization to spend between $15,000 and $20,000 to get there, to get to the file server system. And that way, all the computers everybody uses, and some of our computers right now have stuff on them because they no longer let you have that software unless you buy it on the cloud. Mm-hmm. And we've already owned it, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like our newsletter's done out of Publisher, Microsoft Publisher, which they no longer provide on Microsoft Office, and you have to buy 365. You cannot buy Microsoft Office anymore and load on a computer. So these are the problems where the world's turning, and it's you get squeezed because every year the cost goes up on Microsoft 365. So there's some legitimacy to let that computer lie there with the old Publisher on it, because that's where it makes sense, and we're not spending money just because. So, but listen, I don't know about IT to be dangerous, so I understand what they're talking about, and I quizzed them extensively how many terabytes, where is this and that. I think they are giving us good advice, but they're like, you don't ask the carpenter with a hammer in his hand, everything looks like a nail. So this is not something we have to decide tonight. I think it would be good because they tell me all this stuff is 90 days out easily to get components. So even if we decide tonight, we have capital reserve. I mean, we've been frugal about stuff. We have money to authorize it. It's just a question, is everybody in or do you want to wait or what?
And how much of the capital reserve do you
Oh,
have after we buy the building and stuff?
Capital reserve is not involved.
With the building.
Oh, I thought we were using some of it, okay.
No.
We got
The
the
bank
proposal from
covers everything?
We're getting $10,000 down, right?
10,000, we
Got a loan
had
from the
money
bank.
at Pliget, that we still, if you look, I had to move money, where's the treasurer's report? Hang on. As of the end of the month, without touching the reserve account, that's 190, it's like 110 in the capital reserve, and the operating reserve was like 40 after.
Listen, it's a big amount of money. If you want to delay, we can. I just need, to me it sort of makes sense. That's what we really need to do. And I'm not trying to spend money like a madman because we're moving, but it's presenting itself because of where we're moving.
Right.
We'll just say that.
We have 70,000 in the
To move
operating
it in the old way and then
reserve.
rip it up.
I think you may be in left industry before they had all this file sharing and everything like that, but I mean, this is, I'm sure you asked Pamela at your business, everything's on file share, is it not? Anybody has access to any file, you can lock it, certain documents you cannot change or you don't have permission to change, but everything's up there. You get to see everything on that topic.
And you can remote.
Yeah, you can remote off your phone if you want to get sophisticated.
With 70,000 in the operating reserve and 115,900 in the capital reserve. And this budget includes transfers to the operating reserve and the capital reserve.
So I'm sorry I hijacked that, but that sort of explains where some of the numbers come from with this
Plus,
small deficit.
30,000, that's gonna go out for the truck, that's not covered by the grant,
I agree.
is in here, so yeah, it's,
Derek, what was the total bill on the truck if we had to buy it outright? 130 something?
Yeah, 137,000.
Yeah. So we're getting $137,000 truck for 30,000.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
you know, I think we're defendable frugal-wise on a lot of things. And to me, and I hate buying software, I hate buying computers, stuff like that. But I sort of think it's the way to go. And you know, they were pressing it hard. You know, the IT guys, and they weren't the sales type guys. They were more nerdy than sales. Let me just say that.
yes, it was.
But it's an annual contract and all that.
There's a 3-year annual contract.
Well, it's
It's
a
basically a computer or a storage thing, plus I forget the other part now.
License.
The server is a license and it's $1,200 every 3 years. The warranty on the server itself is 5 years, and they recommend you pay for the ongoing warranty.
One more year beyond that, they go after 6 years, nobody can really say what's gonna be the latest technology in 7 years from now. So they don't recommend you keep, you know, extending a warranty after some period of time. You know, you're gonna buy up cheaper and stuff. Any other, you know,
Well, I support your idea, I support it, we should do it.
Yeah.
Bailey, you used to run a township, did you have a file server over there?
Absolutely, we have.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And if you're switching buildings, you need to hit the ground running, you've gotta be ready, you can't be archaic and live in the
But
dinosaur age.
The racks there, I mean, they'll buy the stuff that'll fit the rack.
I don't hear anybody disagreeing.
I'm just, to me, this is a big lot of money for something that's sort of like, you know, fuzzy, you know what I'm saying?
But can you imagine trying to put it in this building?
No.
No.
It's totally different. Here, if you go into a building, you have
It's
this.
ready to go.
Yeah.
You have this curve, this
Well,
curve.
Well, yeah.
Just do it.
Well, it seems like a need-based expense. I mean, let's face it, I think all of us are pretty much taken back that we have this opportunity to change the address of this governing body.
Yeah.
And it's not spending the money you want to, it's spending the money you need to.
And
There's a
wisely.
difference. There's a difference, right? So,
We get dragged screaming into where we need to be sophistication wise, I think. Yeah.
Let's do it.
So that's the proposed budget. Does anybody really want to raise taxes next year for $7,000 deficit, or could we
and what?
take the beating?
What is the negative for next year?
The negative is 7,624.
No, raise taxes for that.
Less,
Right.
it's not a lot, it's
No,
just
it's-
that.
But it's based on 400,000 for here. You know, we want to make it, you know, so everybody sort of understands.
What will part of what is involved in that is that building is going tax exempt when we buy it. This building is tax exempt, but will go back to taxable when it's sold. And if next month we authorize it, we'll ask the school district for 10,000 school taxes that we are paying tomorrow at settlement
Back.
back.
There's your negative.
There you
go,
Yeah,
balance.
there it
Negative right
is.
there.
Yep.
We have a
So-
surplus.
They could do us wrong. They haven't yet. Any other questions, General? You know, once again, this is.
It does include.
Dave was here. Who else was here on the budget committee? Corey, you sat in on
I
it?
did not come this
Oh, you
year.
didn't come to that? I generally stay out. I asked for highlights
I couldn't
afterwards.
make it up.
Derek,
Yeah.
Amanda,
Dave,
Okay.
and me,
Yeah.
and that's when the person from Supportive Concepts came in and said, oh, they're the one, Imperium, we cleaned that building with challenged people, and would you guys be interested for $140 a month for us to come in every Wednesday
and
for
clean,
2.5
clean the
hours,
commodes.
sweep the floors and clean the bathrooms? And 4 of us looked over and went, yes.
Yes, yes.
It was
Yes.
pretty
So-
much a
Right,
no-brainer.
so that was worked out.
Was it 100?
I think it was 120.
120.
I'm up.
Maybe we'll provide them lunch one day.
Listen, I feel badly when we ask our road crew members to go clean the boats, and I would rather pay Spick and Shine or somebody to do that.
Yes,
And this, you know,
yes.
For us,
To shore up a program like that.
it's a win-win.
yeah, so.
Moving
And
on.
can we move on?
That's,
No tax increase.
no taxes.
But you know, it's coming next year, there's no doubt in our minds. Police, you know, trash, recycling, it'll be next year.
Okay, now you get to all the fun stuff. Pamela's report.
You go.
Okay.
You want us to move on, or can we
No,
circle
I'm
back,
trying to-
okay?
I'm trying to get to the packet of paperwork where the report begins.
Or do you want us to approve the preliminary 2025 budget?
Why don't you approve the budget?
Yeah, so is there a motion to approve the preliminary 2025 budget for general fund, sewer fund, liquid fuels fund, fire tax fund, and EMS tax fund as presented?
Motion.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thanks for your attention.
Okay.
Probably the most driest thing we ever do. Go ahead, engineer.
All right, there's really nothing going on in the zoning and planning commission. What really, has excited me this past month is the research that Derek sent me on to find a entity that, not just procurement, we're actually having a municipal building furnished and installed for you without bidding, similar to postcards. I wasn't finding what I wanted from that other link, but found Keystone Purchasing Networks, KPN, through the Gordian program, and Gordian's Cooperative Job Ordering Contract, the JOC, which is what Eric had seen. It's just navigation to get to this. It's challenging. Now that I'm there, I'm very excited for you guys.
So essentially, this is a CoStarz spin-off that allows you to buy and have someone install. Is that correct?
That is correct, and you send them the plans, and then you say, this is my budget, this is what I want, work it out, and then they'll work it out. You may not get all the bells and whistles you want, but then it's at your dime, under your control, so you want the shell, you want as much of the thing purchased.
So you give them a narrative, hey, we'd like to have this size building, this type of bay doors, or overhead doors, electric, you know, blah, blah, blah. Give us a couple alternatives and
this is our
install
budget.
build. Huh?
This is our budget.
Okay.
You wanna give them a budget too. And so Derek was going to clean up the SHRC drawings you had, send them over to me so that we could forward them to KPN. And they've already contacted us. They're ready to meet on site to discuss the project as a whole.
Can you push that and give us a good report in December
That's what I'm
between you
trying
two
to do.
and get some concepts back and maybe even some preliminary sketching or something? It doesn't have to be the, you know, engineer drawing, but layout drawings and stuff.
I think it's going to be exactly like a SHRC drawing, that you'd have I'll call it a cookie cutter. They're gonna have
That's what it is.
size set, municipal buildings, this width, this length, this height, so many bay doors, where the man doors, the shell. The
Yeah.
shell's gonna be pre-engineered, exactly like Mike's saying. So, it's not, you're not building,
Pole
Yeah.
barns aren't pre-engineered.
no, the municipal building,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're not doing any design, you're not doing any bidding, because you're buying a kit.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Between you two, could you go out and, I don't know if we're gonna be, our next meeting in December is gonna be over in the new building or not. It's a long stretch to think we can get over there and be up and running and have a meeting. Be a nice goal. I can't promise that to anybody. But could you go over there sometime in the next 4 weeks and put some yellow tape or lime down on the ground, like where would be the footprint of the building? And let any one of us drive by at any time. They could walk back there to the grassy area towards the creek and then have an idea of the size of the building and where it's at.
What about those containers that are sitting on the property?
The one container that is on our property, Acro Labs contacted us, and the soonest that they can get it out of there is tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
If not, they said Monday or Tuesday next week. Company is removing it, they must rent it from a company in Long Island.
Yeah.
So,
I was just thinking, taking it out, that might interfere with,
We have a big truck that can move that out of the way. I wasn't there.
Now, are you thinking that you're going to have some garage space North Prospect, or are you gonna tuck it into the corner behind the building?
I wanted,
facing.
So like if you pull in off Prospect, those would be the
Go
doors,
straight
you'd
in.
face forward.
Straight in, straight out.
well, I tuck it as far
Well,
left as you.
Lay something out so we have something
Yeah, cause
to
they,
talk about maybe in the December meeting.
well, that's why they had asked me, is there a survey, is like, there a plot plan?
Yes.
on- We didn't do anything for you.
We pulled the plot plan that was before the planning commission many years ago,
Okay,
and then many years ago.
okay.
And Eric went out and
Located the
flagged all
corners?
points.
Yeah. So we actually have a survey that we can rely on, cause nothing's really changed.
Because you wanna make sure if you have to lift a corner,
Can you, do you have that survey? Can you make sure she gets that too? Or do you have it?
One of us had it.
Lynn found it or something, right?
No, it was in.
I think it was in the title
It was in
document.
the title documents, I can send you.
okay.
Mhm.
All right, but this process,
Yeah.
the big thing is, once they start talking to us, and you're interested, we need to give them a deadline. Like, we want, because they're gonna move quick.
Well,
Well.
yeah, part of our issue is that the money to pay is after this sells.
So let me jump around the agenda too. So
Okay.
in the real world, it's all cash flow. So, you know, once we move over there, why are we here? So it almost makes sense to put this on the selling block as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
And we have a proposal from the guy that sold us that building, if he would be our agent to sell this building. So you're gonna see tonight a motion to authorize him for professional services to market this building. And it would be the idea, it's gonna be available January 1st, and if we're not out of here completely by January 1st, we'll negotiate that or we'll speed up our exit or whatever. But we're hoping the faster we put it on the market, the faster we would get any money we want. And what was his preliminary, he suggested preliminary?
550 or 590 was the start.
Starting
Starting at
price,
like
590,
I said
590.
590, 575,
Do we need a motion to authorize him to be our agent?
To authorize, you would to sign any agreement, yes.
Yeah,
That's what I
so we had that on the agenda tonight, but, you know, we hadn't really talked about any of that yet.
Oh, yeah.
If council has-
Just for the packet, we don't.
If council has better ideas, you know, but I didn't think someone could say, hey, my brother-in-law's a real estate agent, and we could do anything like that. So he had no affiliation with us whatsoever. So, but he treated us, our staff, fairly well in communications and everything for this building. So it was sort of a easy thing to ask him to give us a proposal.
We'll have an agreement in December from him.
Yeah.
So to move forward with the municipal garage, Derek would send me the plot plans and
So, I'm sorry.
The shirk
Yeah.
documents.
So when you say they wanna move forward, so if we told them, you'll get authorized at our February meeting, they could give us a time frame of when they could supply, when it would be built, blah, 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 blah,
That's
blah.
my understanding, but they wanna meet with Derek and I
Yeah,
on
sure.
site to make sure, see all the documentation we have to really understand the project, so that they're not misleading us.
Yeah. Does that sound reasonable to council in terms of time frame and stuff like that?
So
Cause we can always delay,
Yeah, and
you can't speed up much.
where we wanna put this, there's no zoning setback.
We can exempt ourselves from zoning,
We're,
spoken from a non-planning commission member.
I think that he's acceptable, we're within,
Yeah, that has a rear setback of 5 foot, cause that's that special zoning district.
Yes, you can tuck it right up against the intermittent stream area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just, you know,
Yeah.
fit it within the zoning.
That's why I wanted to see the footprint.
And I don't know what the setbacks are. So.
5, you said 5 foot rear setback?
That's what we discovered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this could
And
be.
part of the corner's on the other side of that little creek, right?
So I believe we either own the creek or it's on the other side of it.
You know, the creek.
So,
Tributary.
So if everything would break very good for us, it's a possibility we would have a new building for under $200,000. But all this other falling in place, which I don't know if we could ever pull that off ever again, or would start
And
over
we,
line
and
or
we've,
something like that.
and we've avoided probably
At least any improvements here.
250.
250 is okay, yeah, the spots.
I would say 150,000.
Yeah, the spots number, you know,
That is township.
yeah.
But we weren't
Just
gonna do
doing
all
the
that.
electrical.
With all the tributaries.
Yeah.
so
I mean, you know, as far as I know,
Down
it's
at
we're
Get
trying
it,
to
get it
for
looked at.
this municipal garage
but that's,
could be like a spring install,
Absolutely.
which would be perfect. So that's why
Yeah.
you were asking me, do we need to lock in the 2024 rates, or are we looking into the 2025s? That's
I'm
also-
suggesting you tell them, give us something with pricing that could be actionable at our February meeting.
Okay, so the 2025.
Yeah.
Because what they call it a catalog, so Derek would go through the catalog. And
Yeah.
A door.
And if they wanna come back and say, buy this steel, we'll save you $20,000, we'd listen to that. But, you know,
They're gonna give you different options.
yeah, so, you know, we would listen to that in December, but, you know, or January.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're trying to be reasonable on all these things moving.
What this guarantees you is you don't have to bid, you're not dependent on them awarding to a low bidder, but then you're gonna go nuts. You're choosing the product that you want right up front, and they have already vetted this S.J. Thomas, who is in Philadelphia, Delaware County. I mean, these aren't fly-by-night companies, and then they have a variety of different subs. And you can also say to them, well, I'm thinking I might wanna use Shirk. You can, during our discussions, so there's a possibility if there are local contractors that we like, and they're on this S.J. Thomas's list, we can also support local
Yeah.
contractors. So there's a lot of different moving targets, but I was just fascinated by this because I had never heard of I heard of procuring the building, the kit, but not the installation also being as part of the package, and you don't have to bid because it's already been bid.
So this is S.J. Thomas, they're more of a contractor broker,
They're the general contractor.
GC.
and they're selling it out.
Well, they don't have an electrician probably on staff, they probably have an electrical company
They
they
have
use.
subs under all those
Yeah.
categories, so they would act as the GC for the
Right.
different trade.
They are not engaged in the actual product,
The
the building.
building itself, no.
Uh,
Not that I'm aware of, that's why I said I think you'd have to say Shirk, or they're gonna go to Pioneer, or they're gonna go to somebody else to get you the best cost for the actual building kit. Then they'll do the installation. That's why I
So
said,
they're-
if you have another building kit provider you wanna utilize, that's the time to discuss that.
So they're also making money off the project without getting their hands dirty, correct?
That's how I look at it,
Yeah.
yes.
That's how GCs work, that's how they make money.
Yeah.
Let me-
Bypass
let me-
those when we can.
Let me muddy some more things for everybody, since that's my goal tonight. So if Dave were here, he will tell you, we designate our municipal building as an emergency center, which means it's supposed to have standby power. We've known for years that this emergency generator we have is undersized, because it won't take the starting amp of the motor for the elevator. So nobody could use this elevator if we were on an emergency generator. And we tried talking to the elevator company and everything like that, and they wouldn't change the motor out, they wouldn't put a soft start on it, all these other things normal people would do. Elevator companies don't listen. So anyway, we were probably gonna have to buy a new emergency generator over there. It would sort of make sense maybe to get a natural gas one, so you don't have all the issues with diesel fuel storage and stuff like that. But we would have to get natural gas service to come in.
Which I already have forwarded.
But let me back up. So there's some amount that we may be pulling out of capital reserve to be buying a standby generator. And that may be in the next 60 days too, trying to keep everything moving along.
But we don't need it for an elevator.
No,
We
this
don't
is true.
need that.
Right, so it might, so we would probably work on that, you know, we're gonna try to make sure we have the right size in that, but you know, if you buy a natural gas one, they're more expensive than the diesel ones. But the diesel ones are faster and stuff like that, I mean, you can get them easier and stuff like that.
Emergency management, that's a $10,000 budget.
So it's in his budget for a generator.
Just 10,000, so
Yeah.
it's not.
I'm sorry, how much would it cost to bring in, natural gas?
squashed yet because I did the request through Kurt. We got information, it's called a load calculation sheet and also a new customer sheet.
Yeah.
So Amanda has several documents to complete for UGI, send those back, and we can keep moving you guys as a new UGI customer to serve 135. So
So-
somewhere along the line, we're gonna get costs, we're gonna get more information. I told Amanda, if you need help, our electrical engineers can look at the utility bills for North Prospect and calculate a load for you.
Right.
Because you want the full load at one time.
Right.
Worst case scenario, the auto transfer switch turns on, because you went out of power, all lights, everything.
Everything works in the building and the future municipal
And
building.
the garage.
Right.
So that's what we're working on. We are moving forward. So I did that for you as well as the municipal garage. As I said, I was very excited. I was finding out all sorts of cool info and I was geeking out. So
So,
it's like, yeah.
but once again, if you don't give them enough revenue through natural gas because the generator doesn't run very much, we end up paying the full amount to bring it off the street. So that may be the tipping point, whether we say give up, go to the liquid fuel one, or suddenly say, oh, we're going to be putting in some space heaters in in the garage. But I don't know if that would give us enough. Yeah, not
But
really.
you don't have to
practical.
really heat it up for all that.
I know.
much.
So I'm just saying, natural gas may dissolve itself under its own weight.
But you
There's
only
natural
have
gas
heat
in the
pumps
barn.
out there which are purely electric is what I thought I heard. So you do want to invest in looking at and talking to UGI saying, yes, we're gonna switch our electric drain heat pumps to a true system that will be powered by natural.
Will that be
gas.
covered under our grant you acquired for us?
There are all sorts of grants out there. that
The grant you did acquire for us, so for efficiency at this building.
More grant is transferred to the new building. We have confirmed that.
So you're able to work on all this stuff as part of the Moore grant?
Ultimately, yes, but the agreements, I haven't seen signed agreements.
Okay.
I'm waiting for everything to come back through the grant liaison, but it has been transferred to the 135 North Prospect. So that $50,000 grant is still yours.
Can you open a new project number and start when you start working on all this stuff and segregating that there, and we don't have this all squared away within 60 days, we'll make sure your company's good and we'll get the money back
Yeah.
at some point that
Yeah.
way.
So
As the way I see
I'll
it.
open up separate numbers, but for now it was all under the general number. Just
Yeah.
keep picking away. But the other thing that I wanted to discuss tonight is you found a survey, you found plot plans for the new building. This building, in order to sell it, we had discussed via emails back and forth quotes to do the survey. Kevin, our surveyor, is ready to start tomorrow morning here. He's got all his paperwork done. Oh, he's ready. He's ready.
Is he sleeping in the truck?
Well, he said, don't even go to the office, he'll come here, because he knew it was important to get that done, so it's part of the sale.
Is the entire property a single lot?
No.
No.
Right, okay, so that's why,
Yeah, it's two parcels.
Yeah, so that's
He's
why.
got two parcels that.
Yeah.
Right, and we're selling both parcels.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
But I love the new handicap access.
yeah, that.
How much does Kevin
We're taking
want?
it with us. We're gonna take it with us, yeah.
How much does Kevin want to survey this?
Yeah.
He's, depending on if he has to set pins and everything, that was initially 2,500 to 3,000, and then additional 500 if
He should probably set pins, because that's the most valuable
We don't want concrete marker, we want.
You're right, we want-
If there's no pin, set the pin.
pin, correct.
Okay, well, that's what I'll.
Because that way you could always go back and verify, and the new potential owners can do all that too. We're also probably have to disclose our Spot Stevens McCoy, review of this building as part of full disclosure to in a sales agreement and stuff like that. We're gonna hand them a survey, we're gonna hand them, hey, this was this report, just so they have everything we have on it. So is there a motion? Do we have the motion for that, to authorize SDE to do a survey?
I'll make a motion to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to amend, yeah.
What's this?
You're gonna have to make a motion to amend the agenda to do that.
Can we have a motion to amend the agenda? Due to our engineer bringing us one to spend money.
I'll make that motion.
Second? Motion been moved and second to amend the agenda to look for a motion to authorize SDE to provide a survey with iron pins to be set if needed for this 2 parcels here at this location. Motion, motion, second?
I did second.
Second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Go ahead and text Kevin.
I will. We even tested because he was not sure that.
Hey, here.
He was in.
I got my headlight on.
Thank you very much.
It's gonna be an
So-
expensive night here.
Pardon me?
It's gonna be an expensive night.
Yeah.
So that's,
When is it
That
now?
part of the building is dated tomorrow, so next month, it's in the.
Do we have anything from zoning, local codes, or, I'm sorry, you finished, Pam?
I am finished.
Great.
As I said, thank you for the opportunity to do this research. As I said, it's just very exciting to serve St. Lawrence and find out these different entities that.
Charge your other municipalities too, like you know nothing about it. So.
Yeah, we'll spread it out, right?
Well, it came out of the Moore grant, right?
Well, and this KPN, absolutely.
Yeah.
I said to my coworkers, I'm like, my little St. Lawrence borough rocks.
Anything on zoning, local codes?
Zoning, somebody did get an application for the zoning hearing board, but hasn't returned it. He wants to put, a shed right on the property line instead of meeting the setbacks. The building line the side yard setbacks. But he hasn't returned the application yet, so.
How big's the shed?
Oh, I don't know.
Makes no difference if zoning even gave him that, the borough's gonna say no, so, you know.
But he
Chances
could
are
want
you'd
to
save his
go
money.
right on, he's right up against
we-
the alley in the back and right against.
Zoning hearing board has the decision
Right,
as to
Yeah.
whether, but where's the hardship? I mean,
right,
Right.
so. Public safety, we talked, Dave's not here, but we did talk about his generator, so he has money for his generator. Public works, anything new, roadmaster?
My report is attached. We have a shipping container now, it's put on the top of Adam Street, as long as the new ramp at the back door here, those are the 2 biggest items, ticket items.
No one stumbled during voting?
Not that I know of.
No. Good. Moving on, committee reports. Mike Fritz, anything from the library?
Yes, our new executive director will be on the job, Monday the 18th, and it looks like,
Read on.
yeah, we don't, yeah.
Anything on the joint comp plan, Warren?
Yeah, we had a meeting just last week. It was mainly focused on transportation throughout the various areas. I gave Allison a copy of their report and all the detail. There were several action items. One of the
Yeah, Derek got it.
or Derek has it now. One of their action items that they pointed out was our bridge, and that was high up on the list to be one of the things to be done. Part of it is they're trying to make the municipalities safer for pedestrians and bicycle traffic. They were looking to try to put bicycle lanes through as much as they can, you know, to get to shopping centers and things like
Did
that.
Alan Piper tell us when they replace this bridge, it would have like a lane for bikes and stuff?
They would do that in design.
In the part of the design?
In the design,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
but-
would be not safe because on
No-
either
nowhere
side,
else
Yeah,
is,
there's not enough width to,
well,
now for a pedestrian crossing, because people are gonna cross no matter what.
well,
but
you
it's-
get on pedestrian crossing and you look at Old Turnpike Road, the bridge
Yeah,
right by there. There
They
were
put-
sidewalks and
And
they
they
put
guardrailed
guardrails
across them, right.
yeah, they put it
across
right through a storm
Yeah, so, but anyway,
pipe, so.
you know, part of it, they look at 562 as a corridor through all of the municipalities.
Right.
And there are a lot of groups that bicycle on it, and they're looking to try to make it bicycle friendly. They're going to Exeter, they're talking about widening the shoulder to put in a bicycle lane on one of the sides, but then you get to St. Lawrence,
Yeah.
what can we do about it?
nothing.
Well, one, I'd like to know how many bicycle groups there are and how many are each group, because I see probably the same guys bicycling every time. And I count them as
Sometimes you
6.
see, yeah.
So, you know, it's a big stretch to start putting in a bicycle lane for
Well, there's.
6 guys probably my age that won't be here in 6 years.
Well, but the other aspect of it is I would not ride on that without a bicycle lane.
Yeah.
But I might go riding on it, very likely would go riding
But
on it.
there
if
is
it
not
was a bicycle lane.
space.
Yeah.
So, you know, So anyway, they're looking at that. Another thing on their list was Old Turnpike Road and
422.
422.
Business.
Yeah, or,
They don't like how people have to cross the street there, no.
yeah, but they have it on the list as something to be looked at. But when they realize, they know this intersection, they know that building where the pet center was,
Yeah.
is what, 3 feet away from the curb,
Have they seen that?
and it's a,
It would be the same as trying to stick sidewalk through the intersection at McDonald's.
so, it's there, they said, part of the discussion was, well, Exeter has done all of this along Perkiomen to give sidewalks and everything else, it'd be nice if St. Lawrence could connect up to it.
I think that's conceptually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but, you may be
Hey,
able
can
to,
you find us some grant money to look for all this stuff?
yeah,
You will chop away even more of the parking in
Yeah.
front of.
I mean, but you.
Yeah, conceptually it makes sense, I understand
Right.
planning wise, it makes sense.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be Perkiomen, Old Turnpike Road, you could go to St. Lawrence Avenue and then down to the
Yeah.
shopping center,
Yeah,
around like that, and put in something, rather than.
It's not even safe anywhere.
it might be my motorized wheelchair.
They have what they call multimodal funds. And
Yeah.
the multimodal fund grants are the ones that are focused on
Yeah.
those various aspects, so
Dig it.
just keep me posted, but they are annual, there's
Well,
a
yeah,
DCED one, and there's also a PennDOT one. DCED is probably the easier.
So can you go back and tell them we hear the conceptual ideas, we've asked our engineer to start looking down the road for that.
The other aspect of it is that the county has a countywide, usage map.
Ooh, neat.
It shows every little parcel with how it's being used. Derek is looking at it, there are a lot of areas, there are a number of areas that are, wrong. Right. Weichel
Yeah,
is residential, where Weichel is, things like that.
Sportswear,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why, so, there's a lot of, so they ask us to review it, and so they can get their usage map
right.
accurate. And there's streets that are wrong, there's things like that. So anyway, so Derek has a bit of a job to do to look at that. And, I'm to get the map back to them next month.
Another fleeting thought, in our new building, there's no sidewalk. And so if postal employees wanna walk up to the Liberty Tavern for lunch, they'd have to walk on the road. So we may be having to put a sidewalk in.
Well,
Something to-
yeah, and we have had the practice of whenever there's been development along the road like
Right.
that, we've been requiring.
I know.
sidewalk.
For some-
Acrolats,
Made
maybe.
Weichel-
For
made
some
Weichel
reason,
do it.
when that was approved as with the development of that, they went with the big planning and everything in there, which I don't know.
Well, we could either use sparse resources from road crew to put in a sidewalk, or we could wrap that in
That
the
all-
municipal
that-
building.
That has to be engineered.
We could do it with the municipal building.
It was blacktop, I like it.
There you go.
That's what the pavers for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, make it safe to walk it, that's all that's all you want to
That
do.
is, yeah.
Yeah,
Now they're talking now, so what's the difference?
Good report. Municipal lands, anything new other than we're buying some?
Sounds-
Recreation, Dave's not here, we'll pass on. Planning commission, nothing on the agenda for planning commission?
not that I know of,
You guys have a big Christmas party or anything?
private.
Zoning hearing board, we talked about potential on that. So now we're in general comments, public meeting announcements, all public meetings in St. Lawrence Borough Hall, zoning hearing board meetings,
No, there isn't.
no, none. Changes to office hours and yard waste, borough office closed November 20th and 29th. So when does so there's no yard waste?
No, yard waste is picked up that Wednesday. There was no change to it.
Okay. Do we need an executive session?
Nope.
Old business motion to advertise proposed budgets. Is there a motion to proposed old budgets?
Second.
Second?
Well, Mike moved.
So there's a motion to advertise for 2025 budgets for general fund, sewer fund, liquid fuels fund, fire tax fund, and EMS tax fund. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes.
Get rid of number one in new business,
Yeah.
the same as the old business.
Yeah.
Number 2, motion to authorize advertising of ordinance 458, setting 2025 tax mills
That is the fire
for the
tax
fire tax, correct?
fund increase, yes,
And the millage will go from
0.7.
0.68 to
0.7.
0.70.
0.02.
And is that authorizing,
There's engineers over here, we always have to have 2 decibels, okay?
is this authorizing the manager to advertise?
What?
It's
Yeah.
authorizing the manager to advertise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just wanna make that clear.
So is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion been moved, second, to authorize advertising of ordinance 458, setting the fire tax millage rate from 0.68 to 0.70. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Next item, number 2, authorize Pliget, PLGIT, account check writing authorization. This is for closing costs and for the, forever and ever?
Pliget changed the forms that they required to be signed, so we had to do new signature, and the only one who won't be on it is Susan, which will make the liquid fuels people happy because she and Dave can't
Sign the same check.
the same, and we keep the bulk of the liquid fuels money at Pliget.
So this is we need a motion to authorize the updating of our Pliget account check writing authorization.
Motion.
Second.
Motion moved and second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Resolution 903-2024, authorize signers for all municipal business transactions.
So moved.
Well, who's that gonna be? Who's gonna be signers?
It's you, Dave, and Allison.
So it's president, vice president, and manager would become authorized signatures for
If
transactions.
something needs to happen, yes.
Okay.
So moved again.
Second, motion been moved and seconded for resolution 903-2024 to authorize signers as the president, vice president, and manager for all municipal business transactions. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Motion to approve resolution 904-2024, authorizing signers for 135 North Prospect Street, mid-bank bank loan of $710,000.
With the signers.
That was,
Technically yesterday.
it was well, it
It's
was
a rough sign.
Yeah.
and Amanda attested.
That's already done.
What's that? Well, the check's ready to hand over tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to approve resolution 904-2024 for the signers for the 135 North Prospect Street mid-bank loan. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Opposed. Motion to authorize IT upgrades to 135 North Prospect Street with an estimated cost of $20,000.
That's the server upgrade.
So it's a server upgrade, and this is due to the file server, correct?
Right, the other upgrade is less than $5,000.
$1,000, and that's to,
That's just to do the firewall.
firewall to bring in, because we're now going to Comcast, so they come from their router, then we have a firewall. I asked them on the router that we have Wi-Fi also, which will be a public Wi-Fi, but then there'll be a network, which will all be wired network, but there'll also be a private network if there's Wi-Fi.
Plus, we need to dumb down the fiber optic so that all of the computers
I
can
understand that,
attach.
you want it, yeah.
Yeah, so those are all the things we sort of asked about, so is there a motion?
Is that
For that-
$5,000 part of the 20?
No.
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 Is that,
The 5,000 we had to get because the old company.
That we already authorized.
Yeah, took all their.
That's already been
firewalls,
authorized.
Their things in the ceilings, all
Yeah,
of that's
they-
been happening.
They're-
Sucked it all
So
out.
we had to get.
Which is
new ones,
fine.
because we didn't have ones to match over there.
They're
It's
showing
their
up
business.
Monday with all the stuff to do that. It's the
Just to-
server upgrade that is,
This is like the future.
Oh, not to scratch that.
And Monday, the existing company that did their security will come over. They're gonna give us 50 fobs. Every person around here will get a fob. You have to, there'll be a code. If you go in and the alarm goes off, it'll be the last 4 digits social security number, so you have to disable the alarm. It also has via remote for like 5 users. If an alarm goes off, you can look and see. There's a delay before before the police get called. So it's sort of about the same thing we have here, but a little bit more sophisticated.
Is it?
Yeah.
So in general, once we sign tomorrow morning, I'm sorry, I'm on another transit. I will send an email off to who I think is one of the PSOA members, and to the women's club and say, we're moving. We've given you like a room. You want to talk about stuff, come on over starting Monday. We'll sort of tell you where you're going to be, and then we'll let the fireworks begin. So.
Don't scratch your paint.
I said, does that 20,000 include the warranty?
Yes,
Yes.
because it was a
Yes.
3-year,
3-year.
three-year
Yeah,
service agreement for
It's,
all the
it's a
stuff.
5-year warranty on
With the
the
soft-
actual
Yeah.
file server, and it's a 3-year license for
For
the
the soft-
file server
yeah.
software.
With the 6-year building. Or is that an option?
They-
Yeah, 6 years is an option. The warrant,
So-
physically warrant the hardware.
Yeah, you have to renew, because the license are only 3 years, you have to renew the license in 3 years. The warranty, they said on the server is 5 years, so they recommend you go for whatever additional.
So everything there is warranted.
So everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the server, yes, because they said that if that fails, that's important.
You're out of luck that happened. It's a bad day
We,
when
we,
it fails.
yeah, we want that covered under warranty. So is there a motion to authorize that, upgrades?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded for the estimated upgrades of $20,000 for IT at the new building. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Is there another page?
No,
Any comments by council? Appreciate all your, go ahead.
I had a conversation with Amanda the other day, and I know it got to Bob's ears. I was talking to the chief, in the last week or so, and we were talking about, the move and stuff like that, and talked about the amount of office space and just the kind of nuts and bolts of the property, and I said, maybe, just maybe, if they needed a satellite office, we could dedicate a room for them. Most of their technology is remote in their cars, but if they needed a place to go, outside of their normal, station up there, maybe there would be space available for them.
well,
Nothing
they,
about
well,
equipment.
Yeah, technically, every officer's gonna get a fob. And the idea was, guys, especially on midnight, I don't know if you ever had this, Greg, they get to go to a peaceful place to either eat or go to the bathroom that's not Turkey Hill. And to me, that's pretty nice, and I've heard comments back like, we really appreciate this.
yeah.
So that's the intent, that they're already gonna have access to the building for those two things.
And even in time of an emergency, if there was something,
Yeah,
God forbid, in that location, if they needed a command post or something,
Yeah.
I know they have the mobile unit, but
yeah.
again, I think that's part of the relationship we have built with them, and I think we should make,
Oh, I already said to Ray when I told him we were probably buying the building, is that if they ever needed space to hold anything, that building is there, whether it be training or some kind of other community event, they just need to let us know and we would make it available.
Now, when I worked, at Lower Heidelberg, we had an ATS security system with the Fox. What I loved about it was that you could program the doors to stay locked or open up at a certain period of time, you know, the planning commission meeting. So it keeps the staff safe, and it only opens the building when you want it, and then you.
Well,
of
it's-
course you
And
can
that's
do
true, we
it.
could say if we know the women's club's meeting, we could make sure the door unlocks by a phone, half hour before their meeting and half hour after the meeting ends, and the whole thing gets locked up again.
Other than Susan will have a phone.
Yeah, Susan will
She's
have a
a
phone.
tax collector.
Right, and we'll give a fob to one person at CSOA, and so that'll
He was
strip.
paid, yes.
And if they get one fob,
And
I
they're
think
gonna
that's reasonable.
they're not gonna be able to come and go as they please.
Door management system?
And I think council should come up with a policy of what they're gonna allow to be drilled into the exterior wall of the building.
I expect a lot of pushback, they've already heard through the grapevine that they're already
They
annoyed.
attach all kinds of things.
Yeah, they wanted
You know
their
how many
30,000.
flagpoles ripped out of the walls of this building? Cause they attached all the poles around and they did.
They wanted their 30,000 back from the elevator, which they're incorrect. We paid one member of PSOA. We paid him $10,000 over 3 years, every 3 years per year for 3 years. So that's paid back. But I'm sure they're going to be highly annoyed. But,
Well, they wanna take their bathroom.
yeah, so we'll see what happens. You know,
Is that a bucket?
life goes on.
The bathroom upstairs, they gave the borough they did give the borough 25,000. Tim Hilbert did do the loaning for the elevator.
But it was a
And
loan, it's been paid back.
It was
Yeah.
a loan, it was not a gift, and.
But the bathroom money was a
And they
gift.
gave $5,000 to have the bathroom installed upstairs.
Yeah.
And all we're saying to them is you have a room, they actually, it's planned to give them one of the bigger meeting rooms that's in the office side. But they can only take what they can fit in that room. They can't leave stuff out
And
in
you
the
can crack it
other.
up even.
And,
It's gonna be jointly used by the
Right.
women's club.
no, Women's Club gets their own room too.
Okay, so you're
They're
gonna give
gonna
them another
get their
room.
Right,
own
okay.
office.
And if they need it,
The key's gonna be a key that we
manage,
have,
okay.
yeah.
And if they have a bigger event, they can move out to the big meeting room as long as it gets cleaned up. I mean, I think we wanna have some sort of agreement
They can't
for
leave their
yes.
great
housekeeping and such.
Cuba chairs out in that room.
Get food watching.
So there
upstairs?
Bob, there are two other meeting rooms then, besides the one,
There's,
They're two,
Our
there's
big
kind
one.
of,
they're two large
You're-
rooms.
Mayor, you're putting me on the spot because I have yet to be in the
oh,
building.
that's right.
And I've said I'd buy it sight unseen.
on the office side, there are two larger size meeting
Oh,
rooms.
okay,
We're keeping the Women's Club and the POS of A downstairs.
Right.
They have the one larger size meeting room, not the front office that ends up being my office, that meeting room in the back. Women's Club will be downstairs in a smaller room, but they have already, we told them they cannot take their refrigerators. There's plenty of refrigerators there, they don't need to plug in the 40-year-old refrigerators that are.
To sell sandwiches 4 times a year, you know.
Two times a year.
Door growls at you.
The Women's Club is already working on moving their stuff around and
Yeah.
consolidating, moving stuff out. They don't have a problem with it. They can hang any of their stuff they wanna hang in their room. That's the same as the POS of A. It's an inside room, so they have all the
Managed
walls.
Since 1987, when we bought this building,
97.
97, sorry, we've let the Women's Club and the PSOA have use of over 50% of this building. And we have staff employees that work in the basement that has no heat and no air conditioning. So I'm sort of a hard liner on if either of those two groups don't like the new building, I'm gonna point that out.
Yep.
You know, so if you all hear feedback, I'm all for, I'll be the face that takes the comments. But if you guys have better ideas or wish me to tone down a little bit, I'll certainly try.
For the maximum 15 members that the POS of A has, they have a very large space upstairs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really?
And my point is, I think we've been very generous to these two community groups. I fear that there could be some other community group at some point that said, hey, we'd like to have storage, we'd like to use the building, and we have no defense but not to let them use it either. So, so this all sort of ties in, hand in glove.
Maybe the POSB wants to buy a foldable? Asking for a.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Thanks so much for all your patience tonight.